Hello everyone, today we're going to present an analysis of Bimbo's net sales using a demand forecasting method using linear regression. The main objective of this analysis is to understand how Bimbo's sales have evolved over time, especially from 2021 to 2025, and to identify whether there is a clear growth trend. Let's start looking at historical data. We analyzed Bimbo's net sales over 5 years. In 2021, the sales were 338,792. Then, in 2022, the sales increased significantly with 398,706. Then, in 2023, the sales were 399,879, followed by 408,335 in 2024, and finally 426,952 in 2025. From these numbers, we can already observe a general upward trend, meaning the company has been growing over time. Even though the growth is not perfectly constant, the overall direction is clearly positive. This is important because it shows that Bimbo has maintained stable increase in sales, which can indicate strong demand, effective strategies, and consistent market performance. Now, to better understand this trend and make projections, we apply a statistical projection called linear regression, which will be explained in the next section.
To analyze the trend more formally, we use the linear regression. This method helps us to fit a straight line through the data in order to represent its general direction over time. The equation that we use is G equals A plus B times X, where G is the forecast value, X represents time, and A is the intercept, and B the slope. In our case, the slope shows us that the sales of Bimbo are increasing year by year. The positive slope confirms that the company is experiencing a consistent growth over the analyzed period. It also helps us to understand that time is a key factor on influencing sales performance. When we compare the forecast values with the actual sales, we can see that in the model is relatively accurate, in particular for the years 2023, 24, and 25. The difference between real and forecast values are quite small. This tells us that the regression model is doing a good job capturing the overall trend, even if it doesn't perfectly match every data point.
So, what does all of this mean? First, the model clearly confirms that Bimbo sales are increasing over time, showing a strong upward trend. Second, the forecast aligns well with the actual data, which means that linear regression is a useful tool for understanding general behavior and making projections. However, it is important to mention that this model has limitations. It does not consider external factors such as inflation, economic conditions, or changes in consumer behavior. Because of this, it should not be used to predict exact future values, but rather to identify patterns and trends. Also, the standard error of around 17671 indicates that there is some variation between predicted and actual values, but it is still acceptable considering the scale of the data. Also, the standard error, based on this trend, we can estimate that for 2026, Bimbo sales could reach approximately 450,000. This suggests that if current conditions remain stable, the company will likely continue growing. In conclusion, Bimbo shows strong and consistent performance over time, and the forecasting model supports a positive outlook for the future. Thank you for listening to our analysis. We hope this helped you understand how linear progressions can be applied in real business scenarios and how forecasting can support decision making for big companies such as Bimbo.